Hey guys, welcome to our channel Coding with Karthik. So this session we are going to use MongoDB and we'll use ODM technique to connect the database and we'll implement the REST API. Okay, so I already had one video, one section. So you can check my YouTube channel. So where we have like Node.js server using Express and we create a REST API for users list, so you can check it out. But today I'm going to update the same code and we'll use a MongoDB uh, in place of object, and also like we'll use ODM technique to handle the database operations. Okay, so that is what we are going to discuss. So, but before we start the session, so I request you to please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and so please do this if you haven't done so, because it is really encouragement for me to make more videos and come up with more tutorials on different topics. Okay, yeah, let's begin my session. Yeah, so first, what is MongoDB ODM? So uh, the I think most of you know about ORM, right? Object relational mapping. So that is for SQL databases like MySQL, SQL Server, right? But ODM is kind of it is object document mapping. So it is similar to the ORM, but it is for non-relational databases. Okay, that means it maps between object model and document database. If you want me to more detail, like it is kind of will handle the database operations, or will insert or something like insert the data, or delete or update the data, right? Will do everything using our let's say if you can Node.js, we'll use Node.js objects to do that. Okay, but for that we are going to use Mongoose module. So Mongoose Node.js module, which will provide that layer to do that. Okay, so and also you see, right? So Mongoose is a library that provides object mapping functionality for MongoDB. So we'll use this Mongoose, and in Node.js we have MongoDB library, but that is native client, which it is kind of will connect to the database, and we'll have to manually handle the operations. Okay, but if you use the Mongoose, it will be very easy to handle the I mean non-relational data. MongoDB. Okay, so let's jump into the coding now. Yeah. So here is the old code. Okay, so I'm using the same code now. So if you don't know what is this, you can check my previous video. Okay, so there here, right? So for data handling, we just created one list variable, and we are just updating that variable in every REST API. Okay, and also we have uh, sorry we also tested using that we also tested those REST APIs using Postman. Okay, and this one everything had a session. So we had a session, so you can check that video. I will give that link in description, you can check that. Okay, now so here now we are going to replace this variable, right? Replace the data store logic with MongoDB. So instead of this variable, right, we'll use MongoDB to store the data. Okay, so let me do that now. Yeah, for that first we have to import the module. Okay, so I will import the module now. So for that I will use Mongoose. So require of so here's the logic. So and I need to install the code. I need to install the MongoDB module. So npm install mongoose. It is getting installed. That is done now. So let me create one variable to store the URL. Okay. So I will just create one variable. So this is my local MongoDB server URL. So even if you want me to, yeah. So and I will show that data update in the console. Okay. So here we can see the data updates. Okay. Now, yeah. So here this is the MongoDB URL with database demo DB. So I already have this. I already switched to the DemoDB database. So let's see, like, is there any collection database? There's no collection, right? So we haven't created any collection database, but we are going to do the through the Node.js using Mongoose module. So this is what ODM. So everything we can control from our Node.js application, right? So our application. So that is what ODM. Now, yeah, we have the Mongoose URL, and now let me use Mongoose module to connect the our database. So MongoDB database. So for that I will use mongoose dot connect of, so MongoDB URL. So for this connection connect method, we have few options that we can include. I will take separate section for that because there are multiple options that we can add to this connection connect method. Okay, so we'll take the separate section, but for now we don't need of that much. So we'll just mainly we'll focus on REST API and how to use ODM in our Node.js Express application. Okay, yeah. So this is now the connection will get established to this function. Now let me create one mongoose model. Okay, so for that I will use constant, so user equal to, so what we can do is mongoose dot model of, so here we have to give the model name, I mean collection name. So basically this will reflect as a collection name in database. So yeah, so I will let me give something like user. Okay, and next parameter, right? So for this method we have to pass the collection name and a schema name. Okay, sorry, a schema object. So that means let's say we have, like, we're storing name, status and email, right? So let's do the same thing here. So name, so I will give type string. Okay, so I will go with a string type. Okay, and next what is the next one? Status, sorry, status, I will go with same way, type string. And next is we have email. So for that also I will go with this, I will go with the same type. Okay, so that means we are creating an object, so which is mapping to, we are just creating one mongoose model, so in our Node.js, right? So which is mapping to the users collection in actual database. Okay, so this is how it works. Now so now you understand, right? Mongoose is kind of library which can give that flexibility to do the ODM technique in Node.js application. Okay, yeah. Now we have this model. So we have the Node.js object now. So uh, which is mapped to the collection, right? User collection. Now, yeah. Okay, that is done. Now what we'll do, right? So we connected to the MongoDB and we created the user object. So we'll use this object in our REST API endpoints. So anyways, this is not required at all. I'm just going to remove this part. Yeah. So for this, first we'll try to, we don't have collection. First we'll try to add some users to the database. So for that, here, right, I will replace this logic. So before we are pushing, maybe I'll just comment later again. So before we are pushing users to this user list, now we have to push our data to the MongoDB database, right? So for that, what we'll do is we'll just comment this code, and we'll use, like, the user object we created above it. So for to post the data. So to create the collection, to create the document in the user collection. Okay. So now what we'll do, right? So we'll just sorry. So let me create one variable. Just new, let's say, user data. Okay. So here we'll use new user up. So and we'll pass this entire object. Okay. So here this is the object, and now we'll just use, like, await of dot saver. Okay, so we'll just use the saver method, so then we'll create the record in our database. So this is how it works. So let me add some try catch. So if you face any, like, if we get any issue, right, while creating the record, we can capture the exception, we can send back that error code to the user, right? So for that I will use so what I will do, right? So here let me create store these results, and here, right, let me create try catch. So here, so response send off, we'll just send something like error occurred, okay? So error, okay. Now, so here, right, so instead of this, what we'll send, it will send that user ID, okay? So that means we'll use the default index ID from the MongoDB collection, so we'll use the same thing as a user ID, okay? Now what we'll do, right, so we'll just have the status. So we'll just have the status message. Yeah, we'll just send the status success, and we'll also send this user ID results.id, right? So this is something like insertion ID in MySQL SQL, right? The same way we'll get one ID. So we are using the same ID, right? So to send back response. Now, so to use the await keyword, we have to make this async. So I will just make this async. Okay. Yeah, that means we are just using this one to create the new record. Okay, user object, and we are saving using the save method, and we are just returning the success message. So if it is error, then it will send this. If is there any exception, right, then it will send this thing. Okay, sorry, I have to, yeah, okay. Now the post API is, we have done with post API. So let's see. Okay, so let me start the server node server.js. Oh, is there any error? Yeah, okay, we haven't installed. I think we have installed it. Let me install it. Which npm install. Sorry, I have given this spelling mistake. Sorry, let me correct it. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Now it is done. So we are installing the Mongoose module. Now let me run it again. So let me clear this and let me run this server again. So no server. So now it is started, right? So let's open the Postman now. Let's see what is happening. So, but before that, let's see either collection is created in MongoDB or not. Okay. See that way. So here I'm switching the mongodb terminal. Let me see the collection. See, we have the users collection. Okay, so that means we are able to create the collection using our using Mongoose module, right? So this is how it works. Now, so let's save some data into that. So then we'll see the database again. We'll check the database again. So here, so we'll send post request. Okay, we'll send post request to store the data. So I'm just sending test one, and the status active, maybe let me send active, and we have email. Okay, let me send this. Yeah, now we got the success and as well as that ID, right? So that means, so here we are returning two parameters, right? One is success status success, and the results ID, so which is user ID, which will consider as user ID in our case. Okay, now, so let me now update the, like a get request also, then we can check the data. So before that, we'll just check it from here. Okay, so sorry, db dot users dot find of c. Okay, now this is how, right? So we have the record, right, name active and test one, right? So this is because we are using this save of method, so that's why it is able to save this data object into the uh, as a document into this collection. So yeah, now let's see the get request. So here what we'll do, right, we'll just remove this entire logic. Okay, so now we'll replace this logic with our ODM logic. Okay, so let me do that now. So we have the status, so depends on the status we'll create one filter object. Okay, so if the status is there, we'll use it for filter query, otherwise we'll just use an empty object, empty filter. Okay, will not do any filter. Now let me just what we can do, right, so we just need to do like let users equal to await of. Okay, even for this also we need to use async method. Now here at await of user, so user dot find of, so we'll use this filter object. Okay, so we are using the filter object, and we are sending this users results send back to the front end, right? So this is how it works. So that means, so we are just filtering based on the status. So if it is status is there, we'll use it, uh, will apply the filter, otherwise it will be empty filter object. Okay, now let me restart the server. Okay, yeah, let's go to the post menu. Let's see the get request. Okay, yeah, let me just go to the post menu. Yeah, here first we'll see without status. Okay, now we are getting the user with active status, but let me filter out the status equal to. So even it will give the, because let me try one more request. Okay, so let me put test2 and let me post this record. So inactive, and let me give test2. Okay, so it got created. Now let's go here and let's see without status. So see, we are getting two records, and if we apply the status, right, so if we send the status query, then we're getting only one record with the active status. So this is how it works. And now let's say the other methods also. Now we have done with get, and now let's see this one. So depends on the ID, that again we can get the specific record, right? So let's see that format also. So for this we just need to do like we'll remove this entire logic. Okay, we'll remove this entire logic and we'll use let user equal to await of user dot find one of. So we'll just filter out based on ID. So we'll use this one, user ID. Okay, this is done. So let's check it out. Yeah, so again you have to make this async method to use await, right? Yeah, it is designed. So now let's go to the postman again and let's see the results. Okay, so here is our postman, and let me check this one. Okay, so let me pass this user ID now. So we have two user IDs, and let me pass this user ID maybe. Yeah. Here I'll use this. See, now we are getting the specific user, right? So we have done with this also. Next, let's go with other request. Okay. So let me go to delete method. Okay. So we have done with post and we have done with get method, right? Now we are going with delete method. Okay. So we have the user ID. Let me comment it out this code. Okay. Now we'll just use like every user user dot delete one of, will use this ID and user, will use this user ID to filter the data. Will delete on which is which starts with this condition ID equal to user ID, right? So this is how it works. And so and let me also update the put request, then we'll test through the postman. Okay, now inside the this one, right? So let me go to the put method. So here let me remove this entire condition. Okay, now let me update await. So user dot update one of. So here the condition to update is, so same way, so we'll use id colon id and we'll use this update data to update. Okay, I think, yeah, it should work now. So let's see. Yeah. So let me reach the server node server.js. I think some, oh, again, I'm just always forgetting to add async. Yeah, so here, so if you want to use the await keyword, we can only have that await method inside async function, okay? We can call await only from the async functions. Yeah. Let me restart. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Async. Yeah, now it is running, okay? So let me go to the, now let me try the put method, okay? So here, so we have this user ID. So the status is inactive, right? We'll try to update the status to active. So no, just we'll update only on this. Okay. Yes, user updated. Now let me see this. Yeah, status got changed to active. Oh, sorry. I have to switch to postman. Okay, sorry. Yeah, yeah, what I'm telling it. So let's see this. So the current status of this user is active, right? So let me update the status to inactive. So here I'm using the same user to update and for the put request, right? Put method, and here I will make inactive. So if I send this user, we can see like user updated, right? And now if I go to get request again, if I send the request, right? See, so the status is updated to inactive. So this is how put method works with MongoDB ODM. And next, let's go to the delete request. So I will use the same record to delete the request. So here, so let me just send this. Yeah, deleted. Now if we check the users, right? Yeah, we have only one user because we have deleted another user, right? So this is how the logic, right? So now, yeah. So now just consider it is how much flexible to do this all these operations through ODM, right? So if you use like a normal mechanism, right, using MongoDB, so it is also easy, but you have to it is kind of you have to more focused on, but here, right, it is similar to our normal Node.js object. We just need to call these methods, right? So this is the flexibility of the ODM. So but there are some disadvantages like what I'll discuss in the coming up session. But for this example, for this use case, right, it is really suitable since we have our database and we have entire application in the same database for the right. So in this case it is really useful. So that's it. Yeah, so now, yeah, so that's it for this session. So in the next session, right, so I'm parallelly making tutorials for both Python and Node.js. So whenever I do video for Node.js, right, then I will try to come up with MySQL, I mean ORM approach. So that means instead of MongoDB, right, we'll use I mean will use MySQL to store the data. So for that, we'll go with ORM technique. So that means in place of this normal logic, right, we'll go with in place of this MongoDB and everything, we'll go with the ODM and MySQL data, ORM and MySQL database. Okay, that is also very useful. So please follow. Okay, and finally, please requesting you to please like, share, and subscribe. So I'm always telling, so it is kind of encouragement for me to make more videos. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Please support. Yeah, bye. See you in the next session.